Welcome to the Dance to Heal podcast. I'm your host, Jenny C. Cohen. Join me as I share stories of how life is a dance. I'm a cancer survivor, mother of two, and an award-winning performer who found that mind and body connected movement is vital to healing in a way that is safe and tailored to your life. I created Dance to Heal Wellness featuring the Spotlight Confidence Formula and also authored the best-selling award-winning book, Outside In Recovery, Dancing My Way Back to Myself After Breast Cancer. I will bring new ways to help you on your dance journey and healing path. Are you ready to move? Dance to Heal starts now. Welcome to the Dance to Heal podcast. I'm your guest, Jenny C. Cohen, and I'm so pleased to introduce Dr. Julie Merriman, our guest for today. Now, she's a nationally recognized nervous system expert, and she helps women leaders over 50 recover from burnout, compassion fatigue, and emotional numbness. Welcome, Dr. Julie.
Thank you. Welcome. I'm so happy to be here. So happy.
I'm so excited. So you talk about I love the whole compassion fatigue because I think in general, the entire world is suffering from that. It's almost doesn't matter whether or not you're over 50 or 40. And then you've even got another book coming out. And I want you just to tease the audience a little bit before we get down to the nitty gritty of this interview. What is this wonderful topic that you have coming out in the spring?
The book title is Are We Going to Have Sex or What? And it is for women over 50 to keep our fire lit in the bedroom. Well, just to keep our fire lit, period. Society seems to tell us that after 50 we have to sit down and shut up, and we don't. We can be so alive, and this book is all about how to stay alive, not only in the bedroom but just in your life, to come out of feeling numb and really take care of that nervous system. So it goes from I talk from everything about how to keep your vagina in good health, which the same things we do for our face are the same things we need to be doing for our vagina as we age. And our doctors don't sit down and talk to us about that. All the way how to have hard conversations about sex in a very adult, yummy kind of way. Because I have found the women I work with, sometimes they don't have words for what they need in the bedroom. And I think we need to have those words. So it's a very comprehensive book. I like to think of it as our midlife manual.
And it's a very needed midlife manual because we are, even though we had women's liberation back in, I don't remember, when I was a child, there really
Right.
wasn't that in the bedroom per se, right?
No.
Because, I have a mentor who I met through the mastermind you and I know each other from, and she's no longer teaching in that mastermind, but she was someone that went from being a pastor to being, I think, seven-figure earner now on OnlyFans. And a lot of her posts about freedom to experience joy in your own body. And I think there's
Yeah.
so many untruths about what a woman has permission to feel. And I'm so happy you're at the vanguard of this movement for women to, once we're not of childbearing age per se, right?
Right.
That we're allowed to
Right.
reclaim our bodies, that we're allowed to reclaim experience the spectrum of emotions and feelings that we can experience through our bodies versus, oh, you're an elder in training, so you should be in grandma mode even if your kids aren't married or never have planned to have kids. Your goal is to be an elder in training with no teeth and kind of like a crone with gray hair. Like, I'm like, oh no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Now, this is an exciting time of life to embrace and really fully come into our soul joy and desire. And to hell with the shame. We've been shamed a lot. I mean, as I've been a therapist for 30 years, and I've worked with a lot of couples and just individuals on sexuality and just relationships. And there's a lot of shame that goes around sex. As a professor who I train people to be counselors, graduate students, I spend a lot of time telling them you best be very comfortable with your sexuality because it's going to come up in the therapy room and we don't need people to feel judged. And I watch them just kind of wiggle in their skin like, oh, they have no idea where they stand with their sexuality. And I mean, I don't mean how they identify. I'm talking about how they express themselves and really feel comfortable in their body. And that I tell you, that is it's a passion of mine. I'm
I'm so
63.
glad.
I don't have well, I was going to say I'm 63. I don't have a lot of years left, so I'm really going to be touting that drum, if you will, that we need to feel desirable and give ourselves permission to do that with no shame.
That's I love this message. Now, Dr. Julie, I'm gonna clarify something. What do you mean by you don't have many years left? Because I'm thinking you and I were gonna be 125 when we finally retire in our women only house.
Well, and I love that.
So you're just getting started. I don't know what you're talking about. You don't have much time left. Because I plan to, I'm 57 and I've only lived one third of my life. I'm declaring it as much as
I
I
love
can, right? Because with all this biohacking available and women are now being more empowered to speak about what we need. And if, dare I say, having more awareness of what brings our body pleasure is a fountain of youth for us, isn't it?
it absolutely is. And when we do that, our a very important piece is to have our nervous system regulated, because if our vagus nerve is triggered, if our polyvagal system is triggered, is activated, the first thing our brain does, because our brain's job is to conserve energy, it's going to, the first thing it's going to do is take pleasure offline, because that's not a must. It's going to go straight to survival. So it's eminently important that we as women learn, as we're learning to be completely present in our bodies, to be completely regulated, that nervous system. And I spend a lot of time with my clients working on that too, Jenny. It's very important that we don't just walk around as walking heads of competence, all up in our head. We need to somatically get embodied. So I spend a lot of time with chakra psychology too, because it helps women understand. If we understand what our chakras are doing, it gives us so much information about our body, so much information to help us regulate that nervous system.
Clarify about what chakra bodies are, because I want to make sure that my audience understands where you're coming from. I already know what that is. And we touch on some of it with other topics. So when I do Jenny Speaks, what are your definitions of when you say chakra bodies?
Well, chakra psychology, and I'm also a yoga instructor, and I use yoga a lot with my patients as we're trying to move energy. I learned very early we're talking heads. We can say a lot, but we need to feel it. And when I started asking my clients, well, where are you feeling that? They would be like, what the hell are you talking about? Feel it. It's like, well, you got this whole body connected to that head. And anyway, that's where I got involved in yoga, because I was like, how in the hell can I get people in their bodies? And that's where I learned about chakras and applying chakra psychology. So if someone is talking to me that they have a lot of resentment, which good, I call it the good girl detox, because we're so busy pleasing others and performing, if you will. But if someone is talking to me about having a lot of resentment, the first place I'm going to check is their heart chakra, because so often when we are ignoring our own selves, not filling our own cups and giving, our needs aren't met. And the first thing that's going to come up is that resentment. And that's your heart chakra saying, baby, what about the relationship with you?
Yep.
Take care of you. And throat chakra. So often, how many times have we, I'll talk about me, before I went through my recovery from being a good girl pleaser, how many times did I swallow my truth to keep the peace? And my throat chakra, it tightens. There's a visceral happening in your body when you swallow that truth. And that, that gets embedded in our fascia, that gets embedded in our tissues. And it takes it, well, you're not going to be able to, you can't think your way out of it. You have to regulate that nervous system, understand your chakra system, understand that if your root chakra is not balanced, you're not going to feel safe. there's a lot of things that aren't going to happen. If your sacral chakra is not balanced, well, that's where all our sexuality and creativity and emotions live. Our solar plexus chakra, that's where our self empowerment lives. I mean, so a lot of the work I do with the people I work with are teaching them about their chakras. And I'm an academic. It's not woo woo. Chakras are very important. It's ancient technology, or what is technology? It's ancient, been around for thousands of years. And I think that as we're trying to live a holistic life, we rob ourselves if we don't look at that energetic being. So,
Yes, yes, yes. I do so love your acknowledgement of these very, very ancient methodologies of understanding energy centers in the body. Because when they're not in alignment, it doesn't matter what you do. You can't get out of that loop of the chakras not being clear. Because I remember when I was getting Reiki certified and being explained that we have energy centers at those chakra points. So my audience members, we're talking about specific areas around your throat, your chest, your abdomen, right over your pubic bone, above your head, between your eyes, above your third eye, which is slightly above your eyebrows. Those certain areas are where energy centers live in the body. Whether or not American Western science acknowledges it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Okay.
right,
And a lot of
that's
times we
right.
don't even know. I remember I started going to a Reiki master who I then got certified in Reiki. She would clear the energy centers there during my chemotherapy. They would be so either
Wow.
not moving because she could sense the energy movement there, or they would be going the other direction from the direction they were supposed to be spinning, or they just be kind of dead. And she'd have to clear until she could sense that my energy in those areas was back to the directions and the colors or even the clarity of the energy she could sense was back. And I would
Right.
feel different afterwards. And then I could go back for more chemotherapy, right? And a lot of times we don't even know, people don't understand your everyday can be making any of those five centers or more. Some people study more than the five chakra points,
Right.
right? They'll, you're clouded in those areas. And that's what's adding, for example, if your heart chakra is really not moving at all, that will end up increasing your resentment, like you were saying before, Julie. And
Oh,
right? And then what? So if someone's like, well, besides, folks, you can have a free somatic quiz by Julie at the link below. And I'm going to tell you the link again at the end of this interview. So go to the description and the podcast episode and click on that link so you can take the quiz with Dr. Julie. I already know some questions we're gonna get, okay, in the comment section when this episode is launched. If they're really new but they're resonating, because I teach my audience, Julie, like if they're feeling a little pull, a little gut instinct to ask more or
yeah.
delve more into what you're offering, and they're not yet ready to like book a call or reach out, but what could they do? What's the most important chakra to be clear first?
I oh, that's a good one. I'm going to answer this based on the clients I've worked with over the number of years I've been a therapist. And I tell you, when I start a therapy session or a coaching session, whatever I'm doing, I start by checking. Now, they may not know exactly what I'm doing, but I will ask, we're going to shut our eyes and do a full body scan and tell me, just approach it with curiosity and tell me whatever physical sensation you might be noticing. That's how I start getting people to learn how to get embodied. But 9 times out of 10, girl, it's the throat chakra and the heart chakra. 9 times out of 10. And that throat chakra, so much bottlenecks right there.
Yep.
So much. And maybe it's because I work primarily with women who are doctors and nurses and other counselors in helping professions. But I believe that has a lot to do with swallowing your truth so much. And
Yes,
that's
yes.
going to impact that heart chakra so much. Those two, I'm trained in a therapy called emotional transformation therapy, which I'm pointing to a light box over here where my clients sit in the light box and it's lined up with the chakras and the colors come up. And I'm able to put them on blue green because so often I've got folks that have, oh, my shoulders hurt or oh, I've got this lump in my throat. It's so often it's a blue green. It's not just, of course, your throat chakra is blue. That's what I'm talking about there. And your heart chakra is green. So that blue green is a great color because both of those are so impacted from my experience. Now that's anecdotal with the folks I've worked with over 30 years, but um, it's so important to be able to step in and speak that truth, take that risk. And that triggers your polyvagal system, the fight, flight, fright. And your body doesn't know that a saber-toothed tiger isn't chasing you when you set a boundary. It's scary as hell. My God, I'm going to die if I set this boundary. And it's just your polyvagal system lying to you. But knowing, and here's what I do with my people. Let's take a big deep breath. Let's say we're working on some resentment in your heart. Well, first let's put your hand there. Put your hand on that heart. Approach that with softness and curiosity, because so often, Jenny, people approach it with judgment and shame, and that does us no good. There's no good. So just approach it with, I'm just gonna be curious. What am I feeling right there? And do you know, and I know you know this as a dancer because you're in your body, our body is so wise. If we will ask our body, heart, what do I need right now? What is it I'm longing for? It will tell you. Now, you might have to clear up that third eye chakra to trust that intuition, but, but it will tell you. And the more you train yourself to be embodied, somatic therapies are great for this, but the more you train yourself for this, it comes easier. You allow that wisdom to blossom. But it takes some time because it can be foreign
Yes.
if you're not used to it.
Oh, yeah, it's absolutely a muscle. It's a muscle people don't even know they have. I love
You're right.
this because, I just started a year-long study with a person who is delving deeply into the neuroscience of dance. And she's
Mm,
based out in Portugal. And we realized that I'm a dancer and I'm embodied and I have very little interoception, which is the awareness of my internal organs. I don't know when I'm hungry and when I'm thirsty. I have to build into my self-care because if I wait until I'm hungry, I'm hangry.
oh,
If I
yeah.
wait until I start to have an idea of being thirsty, I'm already dehydrated. So the last year has been spent prior to me even signing up for this neuroscience of dance training was me building in my self-care into this ironclad non-negotiable morning care system. And
Good,
now we're
good.
working on, my evening because I have like problems with insomnia. So now it's a second, because, sleep is really vital to your health. And
Right.
this awareness for people, and I love what you do, is just besides the joy, you have to feel safe enough to experience and feel the joy. Because we're going to go here, folks. I'm going to go this with you because I know people are going to ask. I did not even know until we were, and I have permission to speak on this with my daughter who's not over 21, but I had a child that had gone through, we did not know SA when they were 3. So trigger warnings, like, some type of like crossing boundaries by a family member, right? And
Yeah.
we didn't know. So for a while, once we realized it in therapy, dance wasn't an option for her. Forget about feeling joy in your body. She couldn't even dance and feel that joy. And there
Yeah.
and then we realized through my finding a complex PTSD therapist that I had experienced SA as a child. So,
Um,
the understanding of even being able to safely feel orgasms that weren't completely triggering for many women, right? I have
right.
clients that have had those things happen when they're a child. And so to
Right.
do any type of dance, because most of my movement is based on belly dance, which is very core related, where most of us hold our core memories in the pelvis, there'll be releases of trauma, not the memory, but the energy stored there, right?
Right.
And so
Right.
it's like the safely navigating audience members, it's okay if you're feeling resistant to this because you know of a history or you think that there might be a history. We want to be really clear. This may not be for everyone immediately, even in the near future, but just be clear and understand that it is your birthright to feel that joy in your body, even if you're not ready to handle it right now. And I
Yeah.
love your emphasis on the nervous system calming first. Because, like, when I wrote my book after my breast cancer, for breast cancer survivors. It ended up becoming applicable for everybody now that we're post the pandemic, which I call the panini, because not everyone's in agreement whether or not we're over COVID. Okay. And
Yeah.
so there are things we have to acknowledge that globally we're not feeling safe, right?
Yeah.
And we're all empathetic creatures. I don't care how someone said to you that you're really self-involved audience members. Every human being is geared for empathy. And whether or not
Yeah.
you're outwardly showing you can feel what the world's feeling, we're all feeling the after effects of being locked down and losing so many people in our population. And we're all in some type of trauma like response right now. And it's really important what you're doing, Julie, and making sure everybody understands we have to calm our nervous systems down. Everyone's still in fight or flight or fawn or freeze right now.
We absolutely have to calm our nervous systems down, and our nervous systems, just like when I sit with say I'm doing therapy with someone who's experienced SA, and I'm, as a therapist, that empathy, that's how I'm present with that client. That's how my nervous system is connecting with his or her nervous system to help them feel safe to be in this therapeutic alliance with me. But Jenny, my brain does not know that that trauma is not my trauma.
Hmm.
And as we are empathetic beings and we're attending to those we love, we don't know that's, I mean, our brain will react and release the hormones, and we'll have the nervous system reaction, that stress response, just from that empathy. And it's a good thing. We need to be empathic. I'm not saying not.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing, but we need to know that we need to take care of ourselves. And that stress cycle, I mean, that's what happens so often when we are empathic, or even after the COVID. I mean, so many traumas came from that, from children losing education to losing people we loved, just so many things. But it's very important that we understand the stress cycle that happens, even if I'm just attending, because I've had breast cancer too, and my husband has brain cancer. So even if I'm attending to him, when we get a bad MRI and we think we're going to have to go back into surgery, that stress cycle starts, right? My brain is empathic. I love this man. I don't want this to happen. So that stress cycle starts. And if I don't make a concerted effort to allow my nervous system to work through what it needs to work through, let that stress cycle stop, I'm going to stay in it indefinitely. And that's going to continue to dump hormones inside of me that I do not, I mean, all kinds of horrible things happen with all those stressors, So it's very important that when you get there, and I tell the people I work with, it's never one and done. Oh, honey, it's never one and done. You try and you go, oh, didn't work that time. You try again. I just read a book. It's called 67 Days to Rewire Your Brain. I cannot remember her name, but that's the name, the author's name. I apologize. But she's a neuroscientist who did who did a study and found that to build a new neural pathway, it takes 67 days. And during that time, those old neural pathways dissipate. So we have to be gentle with ourselves as we're learning new things, like anything from a chakra to trying to be somatic, embodied.
I love that. I love that. I mean, for me, when I started my hormone replacement last May, and then I got a really a depressing bone density test where they're like, oh, yeah, well, some of your osteoporosis is better in your back, but we're seeing an increase of osteoporosis in your femoral neck, which means that I was having an increased risk of hip fractures, right? So then I was like, okay, we're gonna have to do the hormones, even though I'm hormone positive for breast cancer, right? But I was like, no, you didn't tell me that chemo was gonna knock out my own ability to produce bone. So then I
All
had to,
right.
right, do the hormone replacement and then do all of the strengthening. I had to pay money to hire an online person to rewire how I was eating. I wasn't eating enough at all. Okay. And then start doing muscle mass training, meaning lifting weights, super vital to building bone density. And then,
Right. Yeah.
and it's just been really interesting because in all of that wrapped up, and we're going to get to back to the whole topic about joy in your body, right? Was this realization, oh my gosh, When I was going through chemotherapy, it threw me right into menopause. And
Oh,
the changes when
good.
we're in perimenopause and menopause, like everyone's talking about it now. Now, not enough still, but now about how what happens when your hormones start to become dysregulated and then eventually stop. We are
Right.
having so many changes in our bodies. Like I did not know, right? That because and so this is gonna get graphic audience. You're used to this from me, but I still want to be really clear that this is pertinent to this topic with Dr. Julie, and especially with her book coming out in the spring. They don't tell you that as you go into menopause and if you have a partner, right, intimacy will start to be painful
Right.
because
Yeah. Sandpaper.
everything's not has fluid down there per se. I'm making a pun.
Right.
It's really nothing's moisturized down there, right? Because you're menopause, like and because of that, your body's so efficient. And so then the vaginal canal will get shorter because it's painful. There's micro tears happening. And then with the
Right.
shortening the vaginal, what do you get? It throws the microbiomes in your lower regions off. And I was getting what I called silent UTIs because I have a very
Oh,
high pain tolerance. It wasn't pain. I would be a little itchy and that was it. And I would have multiple UTIs happening all the time. UTIs are very threatening to women's health, and I didn't know.
yeah.
Right? And at one point, right before I started the hormone replacement, one person thought I had what is it? Not what's the other one? A yeast infection,
Okay.
but not a UTI. They didn't test me for the UTI. They tested me for the yeast infection when you have to stick a little Q-tip up your hoo-ha, y'all. But when I stuck the Q-tip up my hoo-ha, which is the tiny, it's thinner, like half, the third the width of a Q-tip, it came out bloody. That's how thin my tissues were.
Yeah.
Y'all, like
Yeah.
no one talks about this. I'm being very honest with you, that
Mhm.
no one knew. And I was like, and of course, it wasn't a yeast infection. It was a UTI that my then primary doctor finally diagnosed me for, put me on antibiotics.
Bless your
Right?
heart.
All right. And I'm gonna tell you, it wasn't until I started the hormones again, which was full gel T, gel estrogen, progesterone, and estradiol, all of it
Mm.
bio identical, not the fake stuff, that I could start to see results from. There's a instrument that does red light therapy for your hoo-ha.
Yeah.
It's called the Joy
Yeah.
Lux, right? Now they're getting it
Mm.
covered by people's HSAs. If you have that insurance where you can have money taken out and go towards your medical devices or medical care, it's now being you can pay for with the HSA payments for the insurance. But we paid out of pocket for that thing, and it wasn't working until I went back on hormones. Then we started to
Yeah.
see results.
But it's I'm so sorry you had to go through all that. I guarantee you if a man's penis went through the same things, I mean,
Well, the thing is,
you would not have had to wait so long.
see that the issue with that is that they have very outdated levels of what men's T level should be. It's
Wow.
outdated. Like my husband had type, he had testicular cancer when he was 26. That's 20 something years ago. And back then they were saying to him, "Oh, you have enough testosterone with your one testicle. You're fine." And he
Oh,
didn't. He got into a very bad biking accident almost 4 years ago. And when he went to a specialized doctor because he's a high level workout athlete type of person, and they
yeah.
wanted to do PRP, which is when they take your own blood out, spin out the proteins, and then inject it into your injury site, they were like, "Well, your T levels are too low to optimize your healing. There's no point in doing the PRP if you don't increase your testosterone levels."
Oh,
So he had to go on T to bring himself back up to what they're now determining are the optimum levels for men. So they didn't even keep up on the research.
yeah.
Do
I
you know what I'm
mean,
saying? It's like
I
crazy.
yeah, it is. And as we age, we deserve to age with joy and comfort and not have to have your vagina torn apart because someone says, "Oh, how about this?" And I'm just glad you found a resolution.
Yeah.
It's the people don't talk enough about menopause and the side effects of menopause and that and here's my message, it's not the end. There are plenty of options out there for us, and we need to clear that throat chakra and speak our truth, even if it's like, I know I was born in the early 60s, and there was a lot of shame around, sex. And I mean, my mother never even had to talk with me about sex. But anyway, where I'm going is this generation we have, coming forward. I'm at the very end of the boomers, and then we have our Gen Xers coming in, but we've got to have the language to speak what we need, to not have shame. And that's where I was going. We were shamed a lot about our bodies. No, it's natural. It's needed. And we need to use that throat chakra, clear that throat chakra, and speak our truth. That's the only way that we're going to have that soul joy quality of life for ourselves as we age. And that's so important.
I love that. I love that. It is really important. Everyone has the right to that, and I love that you're at the spearhead, the head of it. I'm right next to you because I really want everyone to know, like in Chinese medicine, menopause is like the second spring, where the body starts to turn your energy focus inward, right? And I think that for you audience, I really want to urge you to go to Dr. Julie's website. So that's at juliemerrimanphd.com/workbooks is where her somatic signature quiz is. I promise you that I would spell out the link for you. So her name is JulieMerrimanPhD.com/workbooks. Okay.
And Jenny, I'm sorry. I just changed that to quiz. It's /quiz because
oh, good. Okay. All right, great. Okay, so we'll make sure we fix that. Oh, goodness, thank you.
Sorry.
No, don't apologize. Never apologize. Okay, good.
Well,
that's why I spell it out.
Right. We're not supposed to say, we're supposed to sound beautiful, not I'm sorry.
So it's JulieMerrimanPhD.com/quiz. Okay, and then remember that you also have my monthly masterclasses under Move to Bloom, BLOOM.com, and that's TO. Every month that you come to those, and then make sure that you check out Julie's her quiz at Julie. I'm going to say that again just so we have it. JulieMerrimanPhD.com/quiz. All right, so Julie, you're going to have to come back because I feel like we just touched on the iceberg of all these topics.
There's a lot still to talk about. I look forward to it.
Yes,
thank you, Jenny, so much.
Oh, thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
Yes, and what's your cat's name? So my people on the only audio, you got to come to YouTube to see Julie's adorable cat that's been.
This is Sage. She's about 15. She thinks she owns the house.
She does. She does. We have to have a Zoom call between us and our cats because I have 10.7 of them. They want to meet Sage. They'll be exchanging.
That would be great.
Complaints about their humans.
That's right.
All right, audience members, thank you so much for coming. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Thanks for listening to the Dance to Heal podcast with Jenny C. Cohen. Come back next time to hear stories of inspiring triumph and learn more ways that you can heal yourself. To work with me and continue your journey, visit danceandheal.com. Are you ready to move?